everyone, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, welcome for the first time. My name is Cheryl, and today I'm here to bring you the new to Booktube tag. Now this tag was originally created by Between Chapters, and I'll link her original video down below. And I know my channel is a couple months old by this point, but I figured better late than never. And this tag consists of 15 questions that's basically about me, or the new booktuber, and why they joined the booktube, etc. So without further ado, let's get into the questions. So question number 1 is, where are you joining us from? And I currently live in Kentucky. Question number 2, how old are you? I'm 22 years old. Question number 3, why did you join booktube? Basically, I don't have any friends in my life that read nearly as much as I do, so I wanted to find some friends so we could, chat about books, so I could have someone to gush about books with. Plus, I just wanted to contribute to the community. I've been a fan of booktube for many years, and so yeah, I just make friends and produce content. Plus, I'm not the greatest public speaker, so I'm hoping that this can actually help me work on that skill. Number 4 is the meaning behind your channel name. Mine is really just a play on my name, which is Cheryl. Nothing really unique or clever about it, but... Question number 5 is types of books you read or books you want to talk about here. I genuinely read a little bit of everything. I predominantly read YA and fantasy, both YA fantasy and adult fantasy, and if you've seen my reviews before, you know that I really don't stray away from reviewing or reading books that no one's ever heard of, so I really read what I want to read. So yeah, expect a really big mix of kind of everything on this channel. Question number 6 is, who are some of your favorite authors? Really, I don't have very many favorite authors, just because I found a lot of authors where I love 1 or 2 of their books, but I hate some of the rest of them. For example, one of my favorite books is Jurassic Park by Michael Crichton, but I really haven't found any other Michael Crichton book I like, so I really don't consider him a favorite author. But if I had to choose anyone, it would definitely be probably J.K. Rowling, Stephen King, I've read a lot of books by him that I've enjoyed, and Sarah J. Maas. Question number 7 is the last book you read. And the last book I read was An Ember in the Ashes by Saba Tahir. I just finished this yesterday. I absolutely loved it, so keep an eye out for a review of this up soon. Question number 8 is, what are you currently reading? I'm currently reading 1984 by George Orwell. I've never actually read this book. I have read Animal Farm through school. I'm about 40 pages in and I'm absolutely loving it. Also, can we just take a moment to talk about how beat up this mass market is? I think it's from the 60s, and I really don't mind beat up mass market paperbacks because, shows the book's been loved. But there was nothing more tragic than when I opened up this book to the first page and saw this. This is one of my biggest pet peeves. I don't like writing in my books, and I don't like getting used books that are written in. I clearly did not look at this book before I bought it. Question number 9 is, what do you use for bookmarks? And I genuinely use real bookmarks. I very rarely find random things to use for bookmarks. That being said, if I'm in a rush and if I really don't care to keep my copy of my book pristine, I will dog-ear pages. I'm trying to break that habit, but for the most part, I just use genuine bookmarks. Question number 10 is, show us your current TBR pile. I'm not sure if this means my monthly TBR or my current entire TBR pile. My current monthly TBR, the only thing I have left on it to read is Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. I don't know if I'll get to that or not. When I finished An Ember in the Ashes, I really wasn't feeling Harry Potter at the moment, which is, I know, super blasphemous to say, but I made myself a TBR jar because I really didn't know what to read instead, and I drew for my TBR, and that's what made me read 1984. I'm gonna show off my TBR jar in another video coming up soon, but basically the reason I can't show you my entire TBR is because there's 100 books on it, and I do not want to pull all of those from my shelves. So question number 11 is, which do you prefer, hardback or paperback? I prefer paperback 100%. I like the way hardbacks look aesthetically, but reading them is just difficult. They're too heavy, especially when I'm at the very beginning of the book or the very end of the book. They're just uncomfortable to read, so I definitely prefer paperbacks for that. Ebook versus physical book, and this one is just, I'm not 100% sure where I lie on the spectrum. I know a lot of people prefer 100% one versus the other. I really like physical books. I like the way they feel, I like the way they smell, I like the way they look, I like holding my book when I'm reading them, but I love the idea of having just 100 plus books on this tiny little thing at at my fingertip. I'm gonna have to probably go with physical books because that's always what I've preferred. Owning versus borrowing. This is also another one that I'm not 100% sure on. I'm probably gonna go with owning because I really do like having books on my shelves. I like having my favorite books around. and I like buying books. Recently I've started going to my library and using Overdrive to borrow ebooks and audiobooks, but I just don't, the only problem with like borrowing books is I feel like pressured and like I have to read that book in a very short amount of time, and I have a really bad habit of buying books and letting them sit for a few months before I pick them up unless I'm like super excited for them, and so you can't do that with a book you borrow from the library. Question number 12 is, what book or series got you into reading? And I'm probably going to have to go with Twilight, which I'm sure is an answer for a lot of people. I went through the phase in my youth where I absolutely adored Twilight. It's really what got me into reading YA, and I know it's honestly what made YA become like the massive genre it is now. Then I went through the phase where I hated it. I hated anyone who liked it, you know, that super pretentious phase. And now I'm kind of like, it's nostalgic. Question number 13 is, how did you discover Booktube? And I genuinely don't remember how I discovered Booktube, but I do remember finding Reagan or Prue's projects videos years and years ago and absolutely falling in love with her channel, and then through her I discovered a slew of other booktubers. I also used to follow Jackson Pierce, who authored As You Wish and Sisters Red. I know she has a few other series, or I'm sorry, a few other books, but these are the only ones I have by her. I discovered her channel and kind of fell in love with it, and like through her and Reagan I basically learned about Booktube, and I've just watched it ever since. Question number 14 is, what challenges do you think you'll face with your own channel? And I think my two biggest challenges is, one, coming up with original content, and that's not saying I can't do it or I don't think I'm creative. I just think there are so many booktubers and it is kind of hard to stand out in the masses. So I'm hoping to work on my creative skills and to come up with some unique ideas for videos. And my second thing is, like I mentioned before, I'm not the greatest at public speaking or kind of putting myself out there. So this was definitely a leap of faith for me. And I'm hoping that I can kind of get past that and use this to work on my public speaking skills and my communication skills. And the last and final question is question number 15, and that's, where can we find you? Basically, all of my handles are at @BookishCheryl. I usually link them down below. I've got Instagram, Tumblr, Pinterest, Goodreads, Twitter, and I link those all down below, but like I said, the handle is @BookishCheryl. So yeah, that's the new to Booktube tag. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!